Hello and welcome to another bolstered being asana practice. We will be doing a handful of postures using props to open up the shoulders and kind of counter the rounded, hunched position that we're in much of the day, either at the computer, driving, what have you. So grab yourself a large bolster, a lean bolster, and you might also like to have a pillow or another blanket for our last posture. If you don't have a lean bolster, you could also use a folded up blanket. You fold it accordion style, and you can look for more information, more videos from me on how to work with blankets in your asana practice. So look for that. And we will begin our practice today with a short 3-part breath exercise. You can either do that sitting up, finding a comfortable seat, maybe using a prop, or laying on the ground in constructive rest. And as you transition to the ground, whenever you do that, it'll be nice to have a small bolster, your lean bolster, overhead, somewhere within reach, but towards your head. In constructive rest, it might feel nice to bring your feet wide, knock your knees together, rest your arms and hands alongside you, or maybe rest one palm on your belly, one palm on your heart. Take a moment to arrive here. Notice where your body is contacting the floor. Allow your jaw to release, a slight part between the teeth. Relax your eyes. And just notice your breath as it is. And find a full and complete exhale. Moving into 3-part breath. Breathe in, let your belly expand. Continue the breath up into the ribs, and then all the way up into the collarbones. Exhale from the top down, releasing the collarbones. Feel the ribs soften. Breathing out from the belly button moving towards the spine ever so slightly. Again, breathing into the belly. Ribs expand in all 4 directions as you continue the breath in, all the way up to the collarbones, top lung lobes. Exhale from the top down. Let's do 3 more breaths like that at your own pace. And when you complete your 3-part breath, return to your natural rhythm of breathing. And just give yourself a moment to notice how you feel, what's alive for you. We'll move into our asana practice here shortly, and I just want to say that I will be inviting you to use props in a certain way, and you can feel free to explore those, experiment, and also know that you can use them however you see fit. This is more about you cultivating a relationship with your props and using them to really practice kindness to your body, to listen to what you need and honor that. The first posture I invite is Banana Asana. So a yin posture, you'll lay out into Savasana with the legs, then bring your arms overhead, getting a nice big stretch from the feet out through your arms. You could be active here, really stretch, 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 and then release. Let your arms and legs be heavy. Take a moment here, notice how you feel. The lean bolster overhead could be used to support your arms at any part of this practice here. So if the angle of the shoulder, the arm bone in the shoulder joint is uncomfortable, elevating the arms slightly will help. Moving into that banana shape, a big curve, move your feet over to the left side of your mat while keeping your right hip on the ground. So only need to go to a point where you start to feel a little sensation there, the outer hip. You might like to cross the left foot over the right or vice versa. Feel what feels best in your body. When you feel good in the legs, we'll do the same thing with the upper body. Moving towards the left, arms, even move your shoulders a little bit. Try to create that C shape in your whole body. And again, if it feels good, it might feel nice to have a lean bolster or some sort of height underneath that right forearm. Turn your gaze wherever you'd like. You might take the opportunity to feel a little stretch or sensation in the neck somewhere. So just feel into where that is in your body and what you're wanting out of this posture in this moment. Take another moment to settle in. Allow your bones to grow heavy. Continue holding the awareness of your breath. We'll be here for about 2 minutes. Wherever you are, if it feels okay, I invite you to really release your right arm. The fingers, the palm spreading, lower arm bones, upper arm bones, the whole scapula, whole shoulder complex growing heavy, releasing with gravity. You might imagine your armpit like a mouth or a nose, as if you were breathing in with your next inhale into that whole space, creating clarity, slight invigorating life flowing into the shoulder, and then exhaling out from the armpit. Continue to let your arm and shoulder melt. Your shoulders so often are clenched up because we are trying to hold ourselves up or hold ourselves together during stressful times. So there can be a lot of guarding here. Just throughout this practice, allow yourself to be really comfortable here, to let your nervous system feel supported. And then once you have that foundation of comfort, you can see if there's any space to relax, unwind, something a little deeper. Maybe like peeling another layer of the onion. One more breath on this side. When you're ready, we'll transition back through Savasana. Bring your arms alongside you. Feet back towards the mat. Feel aligned with midline. Let's take a breath or here too, noticing any sensation there on the right side and the right shoulder. And preparing for the other side, again reaching arms overhead away from your feet. You might take a big active stretch here. Stretch, 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 and then let your body just relax into that shape. Everything grows heavy. When you're ready, the feet will come over to the right. Left hip stays towards the floor. Maybe you cross your feet if that feels good. Moving arms and torso now to the right. Feel into how you want to be supported and create that foundation of comfort for yourself in this shape on this side. Find where your gaze wants to be, maybe mirroring what you did on the other side. Nice balance in the neck. Take a few moments here for you to really settle into this shape, for the nervous system to feel grounded. You can just simply observe as you do that. Observe the breath. Where your body is touching the supports. Or perhaps envisioning the breath flowing in and out through the armpit. Just another few breaths on this side. Being curious, is there any last little layer of the onion that you can peel? Any further unwinding that wants to happen? Again, we'll come back through Savasana, pausing for a moment at midline to notice the left side, left shoulder, and then both shoulders. You can bend one knee, use that foot to roll to the other side. Come up for a moment. We'll set up for our next shape, which will be a supported fish. So I'll offer two different options here. One is with the lean bolster. You'll bring it perpendicular to your mat and then come to lay down so that the back of the scapula, the shoulder blades, is supported by the prop. And then rest the back of your head onto your mat. You can keep your knees bent here. Again, maybe the knees are wide, knees knocked together, or if it feels good, you can lengthen the legs. Arms can be at a T shape here, out to the sides. You might bend the elbows into a half cactus or full cactus, either side. Or you could even find your elbows with your hands overhead. No one posture is better than any other or has more benefit. The benefit is that you can find that sense of comfort within the shape so that your nervous system can tell the body that it's safe to rest, to relax, to open up. So one option here, the other option would be to use your large bolster, and instead we'll bring it parallel to your mat. And you can come up to sit on it towards the lower end, and then slowly lower back until the scapula, so the bottom tip of the scapula will be at the top of the bolster, resting your head onto the floor, knees bent or legs long, your choice, arms out to a T, cactus, or elbows, hands holding elbows overhead. Whichever option feels good for you. Maybe it's something totally different. You could do this without any props at all, just laying on your back with the arms in an opening position for the front of the chest. I'll just breathe here for about 1 minute. And letting the arms, shoulders, the heart melt. In any of these shapes, it might feel good to bring back your 3-part breath practice. As much as is possible, breathing into the belly, the ribs, all the way up to the collarbones, shoulders. Just feeling that interior space. And the breath as the vehicle that holds you up, rather than your muscles grabbing. And support coming from deep inside. A few more breaths here. Nice way to come out of this shape when you're ready will be just to roll to one side. Roll off the props, whichever ones you're using. Come on up, and we'll set up for a prone eagle arms. So we're going to use a prop to support the belly or ribs, and then something under the forehead. So again, I'll show you a few different options. It'll just be switching out one or the other. Starting with the large bolster, it can stay parallel on your mat there. Lower your belly down. You can let your legs be heavy. You'll bring your right arm in front. So it's kind of like Sphinx, but you're going to cross your arms over. Keep that other prop nearby, and maybe within a distance so that it will support your forehead. Then when you're ready, walk your elbows out to the side. So the hands crossing the body, elbows reaching to the side. Rest your forehead onto the prop. And just, again, let everything go. Releasing with gravity. Perhaps sending your breath into the back of the heart. So the scapula melts away from the spine. If this isn't quite enough if you're not really feeling much happening there in the back of the heart. Another option would be to switch out your bolsters. Bring the lean bolster, perpendicular to your mat. Rest your low ribs onto that prop. And then you can use the large bolster as your little pillow if you'd like. Again, starting with the right arm in front of the left. Same thing. Elbows shimmy out to the opposite side of the mat. Let the shoulders melt and sink with gravity. Take about 3 more breaths on this side. And to switch sides, you're just going to switch arms so your elbows can come back out to either side. Then the left forearm comes in front. And again, shimmy the elbows out to the opposite side as you rest the weight of your head, your chest, your arms, and shoulders soften. Using your breath to really create that support, the space deep inside, while the muscles of the grabbing around the shoulders can relax. Stop working so hard. Another few breaths on this side. Move your elbows back underneath your shoulders. We'll transition now into a child's pose. You can continue using the lean bolster if you've got it there. You might like to rest your elbows and your forehead on it as the pelvis sinks back towards your feet. Maybe over time it would feel good to bring your forehead onto the floor. Continue resting elbows up on the bolster for a little extra height. And if you want a little more in the shoulders, again, there's no better posture. It's just really what you're looking for in this practice on this day. You could do the same thing in a puppy pose version or anahata. So it might be easiest to come into all fours, move your prop forward slightly, and then as you shift your hips back, forehead comes down towards the prop or the floor. Elbows can stay up prop. So just you have a little bit more of an angle here in the upper torso. Maybe brings a little more sensation into the shoulders, if that's what you're looking for. Something else you might like to explore would be to bring your palms to touch and then fingers up towards the ceiling or back towards your hips. Whichever shape is feeling most nourishing, supportive, comfortable for you. Give yourself 3 more breaths there. you're in puppy pose, sink back into child's pose. You could even bring your arms alongside you, palms turned up, back of the hands resting on the floor next to your feet. Whatever version of child's pose feels best for you right now. Just let yourself sink, soften into the support of the floor. And come up again into all fours to lower onto your belly. This one we will use just the floor, so no props. So as you come to lay on the floor, bring your right cheek onto the ground. And then your right hand might rest on the back of your sacrum, so the back of your hand on your lower back. And then let that right shoulder soften, the right arm rest on the ground. And actually, if that isn't possible, you could use the lean bolster to feel contact. Feel contact with the ground, supporting your arm. Another thing to explore in your body is how much you want to bend the elbow. You want the hand higher up the back, further down the back, and then also the angle of the upper arm in the shoulder socket. So you could have the arm further away from the body or closer in. What feels good in your shoulder. Wherever you are, just really let go. Let that unwinding happen. Just a few more breaths on this side. When it feels right for you, switch sides, left cheek to the floor. And release your right arm alongside you and bend the left elbow, left hand resting on the sacrum, palm turned up towards the ceiling. Or whatever variation, whatever angle feels good for you, maybe supported by a prop, maybe not. Unwinding with the support of your breath. Another few breaths on this side. When it feels right, roll onto your back again. We'll have the lean bolster for this next one. Or at least have it handy. So in constructive rest, knees bent, soles of the feet on the ground. Knees can knock together if you like. We'll bring the hands behind your head. You can interlace them. Just take note of the finger that's on top, the pointer finger on top. And let the elbows be wide. Another option would be to use your lean bolster here. Bring it under your head and under your arms. There's a little bit more space for the shoulders to sink away from the head. And then another option would be to bring your hands interlaced under the prop, under the bolster, in between your hands and head. This way the bolster kind of weighs down the elbows. Wherever you are, just continue to soften, release arms. Notice your breath, where you feel it most in this shape. And perhaps there's an area of your shoulders that could use a little bit more support from the breath. Imagine the breath flowing into that space, creating more spaciousness and ease. Maybe allowing that outer layer to fall away. Outer layer of tension. It's melting off. And with as little effort as possible, just take a moment to change the lace of your fingers so that the other pointer is now on top or freed up. I'll be here for one more minute. If any point you need to come out of the shape or find a different variation, please honor that. It will be most nourishing and supportive. One more breath here. And release the hands from under your head. Take your time. We'll roll to the side again. And set up for Savasana. So again, I'll just suggest one way of doing this that might feel good for opening the shoulders. But really listen to how you feel called to rest in this practice. You might take your lean bolster, bring it parallel with your mat. So you're going to lay your spine onto this, and here's where that extra blanket or pillow might be nice. Could also feel good to have a large bolster under your knees. And the lean bolster will come to the base of your sacrum. Lay down, lay your spine along the prop. And use that blanket or pillow to help keep your forehead above your chin. Then the arms can come out to the side wherever you like. So you might explore having them wide, maybe finding an angle where they're closer to your head or closer to your hips. And notice as the spine is supported, the shoulder blades sinking, releasing with gravity. And we'll take a short rest here together, but feel free to pause the video and stay for as long as you'd like. Just noticing where your body is contacting the supports. The more you can release into the support, the more you are held. That space of comfort, of safety, allowing you to be exactly as you are in this moment. Becoming aware of your breath. Checking in, perhaps it would feel good to return to a 3-part breath as you start to gather your energy back to your body. Bring this practice to a close. Perhaps you're just taking longer, fuller inhales, more complete exhales. When it feels right, you can begin to wiggle fingers and toes, circle wrists and ankles. Move in any way that feels good. Maybe that's a big full body stretch. Roll your way to one side, come off the props, and up to a comfortable seat. Now we'll complete our practice together. Wishing you more freedom in your shoulders, more ease around your heart. Please continue to take comfort and take care.